I call this one Third Eye Rhapsody. Hotep, my beloved, come on in. You're just in time. I'm ready to begin. Today, I hope to help you see beyond the veil. I want to show you our collective future in great detail. I am QueenAusetHeru, a high priestess of Mayat, an ancient Egyptian spiritual system that some have forgot. I am a daughter of Goddess Auset and Lord Heru. I can simply focus my third eye and see right through all of you. The third eye is situated right in the center of your forehead. Awaken it, and your inner vision will no longer be distorted. You see, the third eye is our direct portal into the mind of the divine. It connects us to our Creator's knowledge, like a grape to a vine. Without it, divination, healing, and psychic abilities are impossibilities. There'd be no more light workers, oracles, tarot readers, and visionaries. Emotions are great servants, but allow your third eye to be your true master. Use meditation, sapphires, and lapis to get your divinely inspired answers. Be still, my dears, and you will just suddenly know. Your gut instincts will miraculously and effortlessly flow. My third eye is telling me that it is time to end this heartfelt lyric. Now I'm going to teach you all that I know about being a clairvoyant mystic. As I previously stated, I am indeed QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me. I have a very small channel on YouTube. It's called Ask an Aquarius QueenAusetHeru, and people send me general questions about their love life, astrology, spirituality, candle magic, tarot, oracle cards, crystals, divination, all of the above. You know, that's what I'm into. That's what I love to research, and that's what people ask me about. I also do private readings for people, a lot. I do a lot of private readings for people. And on the full and new moons, I also do prosperity, health, and love and money rituals to help my clients as well. So if you're interested, please check me out at Ask an Aquarius on YouTube. I am also Queen Auset _Heru on Instagram. I would love to hear from you. So today I was blessed. I was very blessed. I was blessed enough to be asked to be a part of this. And I'm really feeling it. I want to thank you all for being here. And I was asked to present on card number 5. Now, for those of you who've already seen this beautiful oracle, isn't this awesome? For those of you who've already seen this beautiful oracle, card number 5 is about the third eye. And as you heard in my poem, I think that the third eye is it's got to be like one of the most important parts to awakening your spirituality. So what I want to talk about today is what it means when you get this card, because there's a lot of beautiful cards in this deck. But I've come to find that every single oracle, every single tarot deck that I have is most useful to the client and to myself when I can tell them how to practically apply this knowledge to your life. So if you came to me and got card number 5 and it said, what is it? I want to make sure I say it exactly. Awaken your visionary third eye. So a person may say to me, what exactly does that mean? So this awesome guidebook has so much material in it, but I'll read you the part here that stands out to me. This card comes with an invitation to be mindful of your thoughts, beloved. Be mindful of your visions. Be mindful of your truth. Pay attention to your dreams. So if somebody got this card, I would tell them this card is saying to you that you have a very powerful third eye. Now, it may or may not be open. This is where the issue comes in. Because just because you have, let's say you have clairvoyance, for example, just because you have that clear seeing ability doesn't mean you're going to be able to use it fully unless your third eye is open. Your third eye is how you intuit the things that you don't see or feel or taste with your other senses. It's literally your sixth sense. So some of the times, let's say for example, you may have a gut feeling like something just ain't right. And you don't know where it's coming from because nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing's going on. You know, your life is pretty much normal. And you're sitting there thinking to yourself, why do I feel strange? And then later on, you get a phone call that something has occurred. Maybe somebody got into a small accident, or, you know, your kid fell off the monkey bars at school, or, you know, something like that has occurred. And you're sitting there thinking like, I knew something wasn't right. Of course you did, because your third eye was giving you the knowledge, and it taps right into your gut instincts. All your chakras are connected, and the third eye is one of your chakras. So when you feel something in your gut, that's why they call it gut instincts. When you feel something in your gut, that's something that's coming in through your intuition, through your third eye. So if you get this card, what it's saying is either A, you're really somebody who's in tune, like amazing, like somebody who's already working as a light worker, or like myself as a priestess, or you might be doing readings or something like that. And this card could come up as confirmation for you to keep doing that or to go deeper into that. Because the more you learn about spirituality, you guys know there's levels to it, you know? So maybe you're at a certain place and now it's time to go deeper. Like, for example, when I first got really good at doing tarot and oracle card readings, I called myself a card shark, you know, because I was on it, you know. And at a certain point, I knew what every card meant in the upright and the reverse. I knew what different cards meant when they came together. I knew what season it stood for, what zodiac sign. I had so much knowledge about the cards because I had just kept studying and kept studying and kept studying. And I got to this point where I knew so much and I was able to give really good readings. But there was more. And I realized, like, you know what? Yeah, I'm at that space, but I can do more with this. I can do different types of readings. So I started to offer love readings, specifically past life readings, you know? So I realized that no matter how much I learned, there's always more to learn. There's always more to add, more to incorporate. Another thing that I started to do was I started to, every time I do a reading for a different client, I might do like, let's say 5 or 6 in a day. Every time I use different cards. I have a huge collection of tarot and oracle cards. So every time I switch up the ones that I use. So it gives me a chance to see things from different perspectives. So if you're somebody who's already into this kind of thing, use different cards, use different tools. Maybe you're not somebody who reads cards, but you're somebody who does have an intuitive sense. So try different things. Work with a pendulum, for example, you know? So that's the first thing I would say to a person who got this, who's already in that kind of lifestyle. But also the cards itself, yeah, it says underneath there, it gave you an idea of some practices you can do too. It says right here that you can create your own oracle deck And I thought that was interesting because I was like, wait a minute. So if you're at a certain point, maybe that's what you want to do next. Maybe you want to create an oracle deck or an oracle card or a tarot deck or a tarot card, or something along those lines. So it just gives me that energy like you can always go a little bit deeper. Now, let's say you're somebody who's sitting there saying, Queen, I don't know nothing about this. This is not my thing. Why'd I get this third eye card? Aha! You're very lucky indeed, because when you get the third eye card, it means that it's time to awaken your third eye. Your ancestors, your spirit guides, God, Goddess, Buddha, whoever you're talking to in the spirit realm, they're encouraging you to open your third eye. Because little do you know, even though you like, I don't know anything about this, you know a lot. You probably even have a past life of doing this kind of work. Or it could be something that runs in your bloodline and you don't even know about it. So if you're somebody who's never picked up a tarot card or never tapped into your intuition that you can remember, this is telling you that this is something that will benefit you. And that you'll probably be really good at it. Little do you know. So what should you do? Use what I said in the poem. Start to do meditation. The first thing I learned about doing any kind of spiritual work was to meditate. Because it helps you to slow down your mind and be able to tap into that third eye knowledge. It's hard to tap into your intuition when there's a lot of noise and when you're busy, So that's why they say be still and know. So for those of you who get this card and you're like, huh? What is this? That's what it is. They're telling you to start working to open your third eye. So the first thing I would do, if I got that card and knew nothing about it, I would start learning more. Before I even tried to do anything, I would learn. I would learn about the third eye, reading about it. There's all kinds of literature and information. I would start there. I would start grounding myself too, doing meditations that made me feel grounded and centered. I'd work on my chakras. Since the third eye is one of the chakras, I would start at the bottom, start with my root chakra and start to work my way up and do meditations for my chakras. And then, of course, remember I said sapphires and lapis. Sapphires and lapis you should wear. Now, I don't have any lapis on right now, but I love lapis. Lapis is a beautiful, I'm looking around like, do I have one around me? Where's the lapis at in this place? Here it is. I see one. Here it is. So check that out. This is my favorite lapis. I know it was around here somewhere. So if you're working on your third eye, you could be wearing a small piece like that. Not that big. You could be wearing one around your neck, You could have one out like I do, just in the background, and sapphires too. They said, according to my research, that blue sapphires and white sapphires are the best ones for spiritual work. You might find some other things in your research too. So consider the blue and the white sapphire and just wear them, while you're doing your meditations, while you're working to open yourself up. Also, in the guidebook, they gave us another one. It mentions here oil. It says here that you can use the blue lotus flower and holy oil. Now, these two particular oils, people will say, well, what do I do with the oil? Well, I'm going to tell you what I do with the oil. I would rub it right here. I rub that oil right on my third eye as I'm working to open it. Or if it's already open, just to activate it and get it ready to go. We got some work to do, So if you don't know anything, or if you do know something, you can use these methods that I just mentioned, So this is the idea behind this awesome card, is to allow you to tap into your own intuition and to open up in that way. And don't be afraid, because let me tell you something. Sometimes people will say to me, is it scary to see these things, to have dreams, to have visions, is that scary? And I can honestly tell you that in the beginning, certain things I was uncomfortable with and maybe a little scared because I had grown up Catholic. And I'm like the rest of you. I grew up with popular culture, telling me that these things could be scary. So at first I was kind of scared. But then as I started to tap in, I'm like, how am I? Why? Like, why? Why be afraid of the ability to see into a situation? Why be afraid to have a dream that could help me navigate through my life? So don't be afraid. It's not one of those kinds of things. And it's not something that happens quick either. And that's why I said to ground yourself. Because if you ground yourself and really ease into opening up your third eye and trusting your intuition, which we'll talk about in a second, you'll be able to comfortably move into it. So by the time I started having real serious visions and understanding what was going on, I wasn't scared. I was more curious and fascinated by it, And the last part I'm going to say to you, please trust your intuition. Once you started to tap into it and you start to feel things, trust what you're seeing. I'll give you a little story. When I first started to really open my third eye and tap into, the ability to feel things and intuit things, one day I was a high school teacher and I was driving down the street. I was driving to work, and every day I got to the same block and I could either turn left or I could turn right. If I turned left, it was my favorite diner. My favorite, man. Their home fries and their pancakes were to die for, okay? If I turned to the right, which is where my job was, there was only a Dunkin' Donuts, which was good in a pinch. I liked the coffee, but it was the fact that I really wanted home fries. They didn't have home fries, okay? So this one particular day, I had been doing a lot of third eye work, and it was really going good. I was really starting to see things, understand what I was seeing. And I got to that place where I had to make the turn, and something was like, go right. And I'm telling you guys, it was so loud. It sounded like somebody was in a car and said it. And I'm looking around like, who's in the car, But by this point, I knew that my third eye was opening or had opened. And I knew I was getting messages. So I didn't want to go to Dunkin' Donuts. But something told me that's your best bet. So I was obedient. I trusted my third eye. I trusted the knowledge that was coming to me. And I went to Dunkin' Donuts. Got to work. Went up to my classroom, sitting there eating my bagel sandwich. And the sergeant, we had a police department, we had a school police department. And the sergeant called me on the phone in my classroom and said, did you go to your favorite diner today? Because everybody knew that was my favorite diner. I had turned everybody else on to it. And I said, no, I went to DD. And he said, thank God you didn't. Somebody just got murdered in there. At the same time, the exact same time that I had to decide to go left or go right, an armed gunman, and this happened in Philadelphia, it was in the news and everything, an armed gunman came into the diner. Now, mind you, I probably would have been pulling up right as the person walked in the door. Well, he told the man, the owner, give me all your money. And the owner pulled out a gun and shot him. So had I bebopping around for my home fries, been walking right behind him, who knows what could have happened. I could have got shot instead of him. Who knows? But the point was, I was obedient and took myself down the street and went to the right, And that is what saved me from having to deal with any of that. And the sergeant asked me on the phone, what made you not go? And I said, I just had a bad feeling. And he said, you're eerie. And I started to laugh because the sergeant was really cool, but he did think I was eerie because little things like that would happen to me often, and he couldn't explain them, and I never bothered to. You know, I didn't, back then when I was a high school teacher, I kept my private life separate from my work life. So it was a long time before people even knew that I was a priestess. And he called me eerie. We both laughed, and that was it. But I knew that the reason why it happened was because I was obedient. The reason why I didn't run into that is because I was obedient to the voice that I heard that told me, go to the right. So I ask you, as you're opening up your third eye, trust yourself. And even if you don't know why, a lot of times you won't know why. Even if you don't know why, follow the guidance. That's why I said make your third eye your true master. Follow it. It will always lead you in the right direction. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed my contribution, and I hope that you're able to follow your third eye as well. Take care. I hope to see you guys at Ask an Aquarius.